Apparently, if you work at Uber, the one thing your employers don't want you to do is to look at the stock. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and the stock market is, as many of you are probably well aware, hugely important to companies who are a publicly traded company. The stock can determine what your company is worth. It can indicate whether or not there are rough roads ahead or sunny weather all around. It can indicate whether or not a CEO is going to be needing a new job soon. And we also can agree that stocks can be very volatile. They really don't paint a complete picture at any one given time. If you see like the company is trading at the highest it's ever traded, it could mean no more than at this moment in time, it is the it company. In a few years from now, it might not be. And likewise, if you see a company trading for pennies on the dollar, it could be that company is about to go bankrupt like Priceline was, only for it to become like one of the most powerful companies in the world you didn't even realize was a public company or powerful company, I should say. Now, here's the funny thing. Some companies take stock more to heart than others. Truly, they do. And you could normally tell why. Like, I've kind of come to the conclusion that if a company is generally pretty successful, they don't care that much about the stock, at least not little ups and downs. They might care if they lose like 20% value in one day, obviously. But for the most part, if it goes up or down $1, they don't really care. And then you have some companies that are not very successful. They really care about the stock. And then you have some companies that are, well, so embarrassed of the stock, they don't even want their employees to watch it. So here's the thing. Let's look at this article from Market Realist. On June 14th at 10:35 a.m., Uber Technologies was down 0.8% on the day after raising 5.1% on June 13th. As of yesterday's close, the stock had risen 9.7% so far in June, outperforming the broader market and its direct peer Lyft. The S&P 500 index and the Nasdaq Composite Index have risen 5.1% and 5.2% respectively in June so far, while Lyft stock has risen 6.2%. That's just facts. At least at the time this was written, that's what's fact. Anyway, but here's what was interesting about this. Uber doesn't want workers watching its stock price. Earlier today, Uber's chief international business officer, Brooks Entwistle, I believe that's Entwistle, told the Wall Street Journal, "We're trying to get our people not to watch that price every day," he added. "It's a long game, it's a long road." Entwistle's comments come nearly a month after Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi tried to motivate the company's employees in an email on May 13th after its stock fell nearly 18% in the first 2 days of trading. According to his letter, which was obtained by Bloomberg News, Khosrowshahi said, "Like all periods of transition, there are ups and downs, and obviously our stock did not train as well as we had hoped post-IPO," and then he goes on to blame the tariffs because, of course, like, why wouldn't he blame the tariffs? Never mind, you're not actually importing anything as far as I know. They've got services overseas, and that could affect them that way. But anyway, so here's the thing. This is a very telling comment for a couple of reasons. Because I think this shows, and from both comments, this is what I'm going to assume, that Dara and Brooks are frankly embarrassed of the stock. They probably sold it to be, even though they didn't oversell it like Lyft did, because Uber is actually kind of flirted with only being worth 2% less than their IPO price. Lyft is down a good 20%. So, positives, I suppose. However, Uber basically said that once they were publicly traded, they were going to take over the world. You might have heard stories. This stock is going to be a unicorn. It's going to sell at $80. It's going to be worth $500 in a few years. You got to buy a lot of it. You got to buy it now. And that has not even come close to happening. Now, granted, it's recovered a little bit. In fact, let's look at the stock because, I don't mind showing you the stock. It's at $43.23, and it opened at, $57.75. So $55.75. So yeah, that's not, as low as it could have been. Now, of course, you go down the month and you can see a very, very volatile stock. Do the whole year, and it got as low as 37. That was like the lowest it got on May 13th, and it kind of keeps threatening to creep up, and then every time it does, it just goes down, goes a little, goes down, goes up, and then goes down, goes up. So, you know, it is, admittingly, let's look at the max, if it will even load the max. Let's load 5 years. So it is, as they say, edging up. So it is edging up a little. That's which positive. But here's why it's especially insulting. Let's just do the week. Like, yeah, let's look at the week. The reason it's probably particularly insulting to Uber employees to be told not to worry about the stock is because a lot of Uber employees, you know, not drivers, of course, but like people who work for Uber, actually have a lot of stock options. A lot of their payment did not come from a paycheck, but in stock options. So therefore, the stock is their reward for building this company. And keep in mind, most of them can't sell for several months. There is a lock on the stock for most employees that they cannot sell any shares of their investment, which they've earned, of course, for 6 months. And what scares them is that by falling below the IPO price, they have already lost money. Everyone has already lost money on this. And the question remains, will it be above after 6 months or will it be lower after 6 months? And here's another reason Uber probably doesn't want their employees to look at the stock. Because if they see it continue to middle, like it's either not going up or it's edging down the downward spiral, a lot of employees will sell their shares in Uber the first chance they get. And when they all do that, it will cause the stock to tank even more. So that's what Uber's trying to instill in, at least what I believe anyway. I believe they are trying to instill in their employees a sense of fear. We're in this for the long haul. In the long run, it will work out. However, don't get too comfortable now because it's going to be a little while. So don't panic. That's what they're saying. You know, because I don't believe that Uber truly does not pay attention to the stock. I believe Dara Khosrowshahi is looking at this stock, and he gets quite nervous when he wakes up in the morning. I mean, a lot of his bonus is wrapped up in keeping the company valued at over $120 billion, and it's not even close. So he might not even get that bonus. And I think Dara essentially decided to take on Uber to take it public, get a bonus, and get out of here. I think that's what he's doing. And he's been panicking ever since this happened. I mean, we've seen him with the emails, with him going on TV basically saying, no, we were never about the stock in the short term. It was always the long term, even though that's not true. We have him multiple times bragging about how great the stock is going to be and how they're not worried about it tanking. And what do you know? It tanks. So, and of course, he fired the CMO and the COO. I mean, they said they didn't fire. They said they mutually agreed. Yeah, I don't believe that. I believe they were fired. So he's very worried about this. And you saw that, Ryan Graves left the board. I believe he will sell his stock the first chance he gets. And so Uber's trying to prevent this from happening as much as possible. So, hey, don't look at the stock. Please don't do that. That's a far cry from other companies where many companies actually show the stock price in their main offices. In fact, Enron, who, of course, we all know what happened to Enron, they were so concerned about the stock, for reasons you will definitely know why if you saw that Enron, the Smartest Guys in the Room documentary, that you went into the elevator and the stock was in the elevator. So companies clearly care about the stock. They care about it way more than they will let on. And Uber cares about it, especially since if we've done a video where someone actually said, like it was a famous short seller, that, hey, one of the reasons Uber and Lyft went public is because they couldn't get any more venture capital funding. So this is their funding. The stock is their funding at this point, and it's not doing well. That does not bode well for the company's future, nor does that, little bill that we're going to talk about in the next video. But anyway, that's a fun little story. Uber does not want their employees looking at the stock prices. But if there's any Uber employees who are watching, well, there it is. That's how much money you've lost. Okay, in all seriousness, I'm very sorry you lost all that money, but I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm really sorry that you just lost all that money. I'm sorry that you join this company hoping to become instant millionaires. I mean, for your sakes, I hope it still works out. However, I personally believe the stock is going to be half of what it is now in several months. However, I will now pass the question off to all of you folks out there in YouTube land. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think the stock will rebound? Do you think it's going to continue to decrease? What do you think is going to happen with this? And do you think it is right for Uber to be encouraging their employees who are personally invested in this stock to not even look at it? I would love to know. So, comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way, helping the channel run smoothly. You get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. Also, if gas prices are getting just a little down, check out the GetUpside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back with every gas purchase. Consider subscribing to the Apptrepreneur Vlogs channel, and we have other videos, different types of content, and again, very different from this channel, so might be worth checking out. And finally, if you want to talk to me or other fellow rideshare people, check us out at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. And as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one.